Hey there. I thought we'd do kind of like a little impromptu movie chat, kind of a collector's chat, and have a bit of fun. So if you've been watching the channel over the last few days, and you've seen me, Malcolm, my dad, all going over and heatedly debating sometimes the Halloween franchise. And right now, it's a big time because they're trying to decide where the Halloween franchise is going to go. With that being said, I consistently hear online a lot of different complaints. Usually it comes along the lines of basically, hey, why another franchise? Why a remake? Why a reboot? Why don't people just make original horror films? What are remakes, and that always have to be the way that people go with it? Now you see, that's not the case. There's a ton of original good horror out there. I recently did a video with Jason where we talked about some underrated horror titles, and I specifically chose titles that were newer because I wanted to hopefully open some people up to maybe a title that they missed along the way. I chose a lot from the Shudder service because I thought it would be accessible for a lot of people during Halloween. But I thought today we'll talk about some other titles. Some that are more well-known and some that are less so. One of them you can kind of see, kind of peeking on the side of the screen here. We'll just go right there with that. But let's start with a couple of the more well-known ones first, that if it has passed you by, don't let that be the case for very long. So I grabbed a couple Umbrella releases. I was lucky enough to be able to work with Umbrella for about a year, just a little over a year, as a reviewer, and they were very good at getting me some really great stuff, and it was all quality releases, all quality stuff. One of the ones that I did get before that, though, was this one right here on my own. This is Road Games. I absolutely adore this film. It is by Richard Franklin, who did Patrick, and it would go on to do Psycho 2. He is a fantastic director. It stars Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, initially, it wasn't going to star Jamie Lee Curtis. It was actually going to be an Australian girl, and I think Jamie Lee Curtis got a bit of like, let's just say she wasn't as popular with the locals because of this. But it's a great film, bit of a slow burn thriller that really, really does a great job of what it needs to do. It takes you on this trip. The suspense builds, it grabs you by the throat, and right to the last second, it has a couple little surprises there that make absolute sense within the context of this film. And I really recommend that you check Road Games out. The very best version of this came out through Indicator. There was a limited edition. Now, here's the thing. It had a book and a poster and all that type of thing, but that is sold out. Now, that being said, you can still buy the standard edition of Road Games, and in all honesty, as long as you got the movie, that's the important part when it comes to a film, right? It's nice to get the limited editions, movies that you're really like kind of big on and stuff like that. But as long as you have the movie in your collection, it's something that you enjoy. That's always the most important part for me personally. Next up is one that is a little bit on the newer side as compared to the other ones on this list. No, actually, there's some new ones on this list, to be honest with you, and that is Blackwater. Blackwater is one that at the time, it had passed me by. I had missed out on this one. Umbrella sent me this one. They were like, hey, you're interested in checking out Blackwater? I'm like, yeah, I like this cast. And I love Killer Croc alligator movies. I love that type of stuff. I thought, oh, that'll be okay. It'll be fun. It'll be cheesy. I was so wrong. This was tense and brutal and nail-biting and edge of the seat, like all the way through the film. my God, does this movie like rock it. It just does such a great job. Now, I want to talk about a company that released some titles that were sent to me about a year or two ago, 2 years ago now, that very different. I wish I had the first one because these are not your usual films, and the director is taking a lot of chances because this is definitely steering towards it's low budget, very low budget. But it's also steering towards the art house direction as well, and it is jobbing from the giallo, and it's just there's so much to look at, and the more I think these are ones that for me personally play well kind of the more I watch them. Because the first time I watched, like one of these in particular, I had no idea what I was watching. I kind of knew, but I was just like, okay, I got to go back and I got to revisit this. So it is the Brevita Giallo trilogy. I have two of the three. I do apologize. There's the first one I do not have, and I have not seen. But I do have Reversed, which I had a lot of fun with. This is definitely a different film, and also the one that I had to go back and watch over again because I just it just like I was like, what? Okay, let me just I gotta go back. I'm not quite sure, and I mean that in the most positive way. Like if you are a movie, like and you're gonna and I'm getting kind of known for like breaking things down and deconstructing stuff, good or bad. That's kind of what I and when I watch a movie, it's what I like to do. But this challenged me, and I was kind of glad it came out. It was a movie called Glass. So if you've never seen these two films, by the way, I really did enjoy both these films. There is violence. There's like nudity galore in these here. So like know that going in, because I can't even show you the inside of the case. I'm not even joking to Glass because it is like there's something like we got some serious nudity going on. Now each like these releases here, I want to make sure that I'm correct. I think that they came with booklets. I know Glass came with a booklet, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the reverse came with the booklet too, called the Reverse Diaries. I think I can show you this one. Because just the way it was done. But yeah, I can show you this one. Okay. So there's so both of them have alternate artwork on the inside. So it's not one of those like cheap jobs where it's basically just the same artwork. I do like what's been done with these films. And I would really like to have somebody's opinion on these because I feel like, one, not enough people have seen them. So two, I haven't been able to talk about them much with people. And I don't feel like it's a movie you can just sit down and watch in one sitting. Like, okay, that's how I got it. I mean, like this is something you dive into a couple times at least. And for me, that's one of the fun things that I do. I'm a weirdo at that. There's one other umbrella that I wanted to talk to you guys about. A tense one. A good one for a one-off for this month during the 31 Days of Horror. And it's a little movie called Fair Game. Now, if you've seen the movie Grindhouse, put out by Quentin Tarantino and Eli Roth, and the stuntman Mike portion of it. So that portion was really inspired by Fair Game. Fair Game is an excellent little thriller with Cassandra Delaney, and basically, you got this girl who is on her own. Her husband's boyfriend, whatever, it's gone away, and she gets stalked and terrorized by these guys. And it comes to a sequence where they kind of tie her to a vehicle. It is an intense film. It's a revenge film. It's extremely well done. And it definitely benefits from being where exactly it's located. I love when a film can really just use its surroundings to like bring more atmosphere and mood to it. Now, let's talk about the one on the screen. I think at this point, every movie by this company was sent to me by a viewer. And I was so glad it was, because they were ones that I was going to, actually a person was going to buy. So this here is Don't Go to the Reunion. Now there's only 200 copies of this Blu-ray made. I think you can buy the DVD though still. This is 159. They're all hand numbered. And as you guys know, I'm a massive slasher fan. It tends to be one of my favorite genres. Something I do tend to watch over and over again. This is definitely a lower budget slasher, but it's a fun slasher. It's a throwback to the 80s era of the slasher. It's a more 80s era than it is 90s era slasher. And that's always a good thing for me, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know, then you know. But I really, really enjoyed this. There's like a ton of features on here as well. I used to listen to they used to have a podcast. So I used to listen to the podcast as well. So there's like tribute to 80s slashers here, the video review, like all 3 Slasher Studio short films are on here. The teaser trailer, a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, I've got only on DVD, but I've got, and I wish I had it here. I think it's at the farm. Dismembering Christmas, which is a lot of fun. I really like that film. But my favorite one that they ever put out, the one that I think really, really stood out as just being a lot of fun, one that I absolutely enjoyed, and I kind of wish that they did more, especially after seeing this movie, was Irrational Fear. Now, if you haven't seen Irrational Fear, for me, like, it's the top tier of what Slasher Studios has done. I've liked everything that they've done. I thought they've been fun. They're low budget, but the way they play it, it's still more fun than your average low budget film. But Irrational Fear really put everything together. And if you haven't, I do recommend picking up the entire Slasher Studios line. It's a collection of 3 films, guys. It is Irrational Fear, Don't Go to the Reunion, and I think the other one is Dismembering Christmas. Maybe there's another, but those are the ones that I got. If there's others, then I will eventually have to get them down the road, especially if it's along the slasher line. Let's end the classic. Let's just go with something kind of fun. You can sit back and just put on and watch and enjoy. And for that, we have decided to choose right here a really fun little film. One that scared me when I was a kid. It's a portmanteau. It's an anthology film. And it had Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Roy Castle, Donald Sutherland. Have you guessed yet? It's the Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. It's a great watch. Definitely clicks along at a nice pace. And if you've never seen it, this is from Screenbound. There's a 60-minute featurette on the film itself too, which I always love. Nucleus does a lot of this stuff. They do really good jobs. And there you go. There is, for your viewing enjoyment, a whole bunch of different titles that you can choose for the month of October. Some really fun ones, some different ones, and some ones that I think you're not normally going to see people kind of spotlight. Maybe Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, because it's more of a famous one, but the Brevito trilogy, like Glass in Reverse, is something that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I got to pick up eventually the first one, because I really, really like to check it out. Speaking of checking things out, please make sure you're watching the Halloween timelines. We go through 6 timelines from the 1st of October to the 6th. Every day a new one drops. On the 7th day, rather than resting over my Patreon, because the link will be down below, you can check it out, you'll be able to go and watch a 7th timeline. And that one will be the ranking, where me and Dad and Malcolm will rank our timelines. And if you get to like the later ones and you see how kind of heated our discussions, debates gets, oh, this is going to be fun. And I've noticed here that I have 8 films. What does that mean exactly? Well, here's the thing. When you do a list video on YouTube, then you got to do 10 because 10 is a magic number for any algorithm. Now you know. So what does that mean exactly? Well, that means that we randomly pick 2 movies from the background. Actually, it's pretty easy this time because I am going to choose Ken Russell's underrated Lair of the White Worm with future Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi. Absolutely fantastic film. And I'm also going to choose Alligator, which I adore. And you know what? For a bonus there, grab yourself Alligator at the next mutation. It's a lot of fun. There you go. That's 10 movies plus a bonus that you could check out during this month of horror, or maybe you just want to check out later on in general. Let me know if you checked out any of these films before. If there's any stuff here that you're interested in, or any stuff here that you kind of like, you don't like, that just worked or didn't work for you, or how it did. And I would be very, very curious on anybody that's watching any of the slasher studio stuff, or this stuff, or the Brevito trilogy, Giallo trilogy. I'd really, really like to hear your thoughts on that. So I'll talk to you guys soon. As always, happy Halloween. Like, share, subscribe, do all that jazzy stuff. Join the Patreon so you can become a bigger voice. We have, every month now, we're going to be doing a poll where we're going to be like doing a movie ranking. The first one, it's already finished, by the way, guys. And I'm actually working on that video. It's the Alfred Hitchcock 12. That's going to be a fun one to check out. If you're a Patreon member, you get to come in, you get to be part of that ranking, get your voices heard, so that when we do the list, then I'll go through from 12 to 1, which movie hit that, hit the bottom spot, which movie hit the top spot. We'll talk about all of them. I'll give you my rankings on all those. And you truly become part of the video, part of the channel, because, yeah, you get to decide. There you go. That's my pitch for today. And I'll see you later here in the Cult of Cinema.